Hare Krishna, everyone. So welcome back to Sravan Utsav. So we have been hearing about a wonderful pastimes of Krishna. And yesterday, Sudhanva Prabhuji really touched our hearts with the pastime of killing of Putana. So I think, whenever we hear news about killing, right, we get a different feeling when we look at the news of killings in the TV or newspaper or whatever. We get that negative feeling. I think only in Krishna's pastimes we feel so good about someone get killed. Like Putana's case. Right, the logic is very simple. See, in the material world, when someone kills or someone get killed, so it's often there is a selfish motive or enviousness, or there is a lot of suffering involved. But when Krishna kills someone, even if Krishna kills a miscreant like Rakshasas, they get liberated as well, and then they get elevated to Vaikuntha planets where there is no suffering at all. And not only that, not only those who get killed, by hearing about that killing, we also get liberated. So that is the beauty of Krishna's pastime, And on that note, today we're going to relish two more killings. So the killing of Shakatasura is the demon cart, and demon in the cart, and also Tṛṇāvarta, whirlwind demon. And we'll also get to hear little pastime about Mother Yashoda, how Mother Yashoda gets bewildered. That will be towards the end. It's a suspense. Maybe many of you may not know, so we'll see today, right? But first of all, let us start with the prayers for invoking auspiciousness. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurus Ulmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, as I said, today we'll be looking at three pastimes, and we'll continue from where we left off yesterday, where Sudhanva Prabhuji has left yesterday. So, where Sukadeva Goswami told this Putana killing pastime to Parikshit Maharaj, and Parikshit Maharaj, saying this back to Sukadeva Goswami, saying that, see, any hearing about any of the activities of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations also is so very pleasing to the ear and also to the mind, and also it will actually vanquish the dirty things in our mind. But the problem is not many people are very inclined to hear them. So that is because of the material attachments that we have. And also yesterday in the Putana's pastime, Sudhanva Prabhuji said actually Putana represents a false guru. So who is the false guru? So the false guru, not only the false gurus that we see outside, but within us also there is a false guru, which is nothing but our mind. So the mind always keeps giving false narratives where it is so attached to the material things, and it always seeks sense gratification. So because of that sense gratification, what happens? We start comparisons, right? And then slowly enviousness starts coming out, and then because of that enviousness, then the greed will start. So because of all these, what happens? We start doing wrong things, and then we get into the miseries. The miseries are like it's called tapatraya, the threefold miseries, which are adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means the miseries caused by our own body and mind, and adi bhautika are miseries caused by our people surrounding us, or living entities surrounding us. Adi daivika is like there's natural calamities. So because of this material attachment, it just gets into a cycle of suffering. And what Parikshit Maharaj is saying that when we hear Lord's activity, when we hear about Lord's activities, all these attachments will go away. All these the dirty things which we have in our mind, they'll slowly go away. But then people are not so inclined to hear about these pastimes. But what he says is that people will be very inclined to hear about Krishna's childhood pastimes, right? So the childhood pastimes are even so pleasing that anyone gets attracted to them, right? And because they're very very pleasing to the ear and mind, so what happens is when because they are like so attractive, we get the taste to hear them regularly. And because of that regular hearing, the heart and mind gets cleansed. And then the attachment to the material things slowly vanish. And gradually we develop bhakti, so that devotional service towards the Lord. And then what happens, the most important thing that happens is we seek the association of the devotees. And when we seek the association of the devotees, we gradually, together in the association, we grow. So some time ago in the JOSD sessions as well, we saw, the Narad Bhakti Sutras. So where Narada Muni highlighted the most important thing, if ever we have to do one thing, that seek the association of a pure devotee. So that is the most important way to grow in bhakti, right? So that's what, when we start hearing about these childhood pastimes of Krishna, so that's the outcome, like, we seek association of the devotees. So right. And then Parikshit Maharaj asked, can you tell me more? Don't stop with, don't just stop with Putana story. I need more. Give me more. Dil mange more. So he asked for more. And then Sukadeva Goswami very kindly obliged, and then he started narrating further stories. So the next pastime that he is about, about Krishna was around 3 months old at the time. And then any kid, what happens at the 3 months old? When they're 3 months old, they turn over, right? They turn over, and then they'll belly down. They'll go belly down. So Gopi saw that, and they're so jubilant, like, oh, Yashoda, look at your son, like, he's like turned over. It's time to celebrate now, right? And Yashoda Mata also is like, oh, yes, we must celebrate. So this particular celebration, this particular ceremony is actually called Uthana ceremony. So Uthana ceremony is actually when the child turns over. So not only this one, actually in Vedic times, the moment mother gets pregnant, the celebrations start, right? When the mother, like, when the mother is 3 months pregnant, and also when she is 7th month pregnant, so they actually celebrate a festival called Swad Swad Bhakshana. So Swad Bhakshana is a ceremony where whatever is the liking for the mother, like, mother likes, they'll cook for her, and then they'll feed her along with other kids in the neighborhood. So they gather all the neighborhoods from the neighborhood kids, and then they gather them, and also they cook all the favorite items for the mother, and then they'll feed her. So that is Swad Bhakshana. And then in the 9th month, Garbhadan Sanskar happens. And also, and the second day of the birth, Nandotsav happens. We saw yesterday, not yesterday, the day before, how Nandotsav has happened. And Sanyavas Prabhuji took us there all the way to Vrindavan the other day, right? And then the 3rd month is, now it's 3rd month, and so now it's a celebration for Uthana ceremony. Okay, and so what happens? See, in the Nandotsav, it's all about Gopas. So all about Prabhujis, like, who actually are in charge of the event. But whereas in Uttana ceremony, it's all about gopis and mothers. So they actually arrange for the nice bathing of Krishna, and they put nice the fragrance and scents and all that, and then they give him nice bathing. Sorry, I need to coincide with my slides. I've sorry, this was Parikshit Maharaj. Yeah, so this is done. So this is how they give bathing to Lord Krishna. And then what happens? So because as part of the ceremony, Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mata, they actually invite all the Vrajvasis. They all gather together, and also they invite the Brahmanas as well, right? And they give lots of charity. And so as part of the ceremony, they were Yashoda Mata has become so busy receiving the guests, and then looking after all the activities, all the while she was carrying Krishna with her. And then by the time almost the ceremony was over, like not completely over, but like halfway through, Krishna felt sleepy. So Mother Yashoda thought, okay, this is an opportunity now. So let the Krishna sleep, and then I can take care. I can look after the guests and look after other activities. So she thought, and then she looked around, and then the house was full, like with the guests. So many people are there. So she arranged for a small cot under in the courtyard. There was a cart laid there. So there was a cart, and then she actually arranged for a nice bed for little Krishna, and underneath the cart, she actually put him down, and then she laid with him for some time until he slept. So as soon as little Krishna slept, what did she do? She quickly came back into the house, and then she got busy with all the activities, receiving guests and looking after the Brahmanas and all that. And then in the meantime, Krishna sensed that nobody is paying attention to me. This is not good. So, and then he started crying as if he is crying for milk. So he started crying, and then he started kicking his, feet and hands. So, you can imagine little kids, how they do it, right? When they're crying, when they're asking for attention as well. So he started doing that. And suddenly what happened, while he's doing that, he suddenly touched the cart which is on top, and then the cart actually literally flew into the air, and then the wheels came off the axle, and then even the wheels also, actually the spokes came off the hub, and it's like it's a destruction, like literally, okay, on all the utensils that were kept on the on the cart were like fell down, making big noises actually. Hearing that, all the gopis and gopas who are inside the house, they all came running to what happened. And then they saw little Krishna, like he was crying still, not because he was hurt, he was just crying. And then they saw that the cart was broken everywhere, things were everywhere. And then as usual, the gopas were inquiring, like what happened, like they went around to the play, they went around the cart, and then they were trying to see what happened. And then gopis also, they saw some kids were playing there. And then Yashoda Mata got very, like, she got literally scared. She wanted to know what happened. And then she quickly asked the children there, kids, have you seen, what happened? And then the kid said, mother, we saw that little Krishna, he kicked the cart, and then it flew into the air, and then it fell down. Then, like, they couldn't believe, come on, he is so small, how can he kick? And then the cart was so high up in the air, and then the little Krishna was like so down below. So if you can see it, actually, with this small, when the cart is upright, it will be very high up, right? So little Krishna with his small feet, he won't be able to touch, right? Even if he touches, come on, he's a small kid, just 3 months old kid. And how tender those legs will be, right? So the gopis, they couldn't believe, no way. And then Yashoda, then they told me, Yashoda Mata, oh, forget it, this is childish talk, don't worry about them, just ignore them. And then gopas, like, they were like, they have become detectives now. So they were going around, and they're trying to find out what happened, but they couldn't, right? There's nothing there. So the interesting thing here is that how Krishna able to reach up so high. Now, I mean, Krishna of course can reach up, but being in the child form, how did he reach up? So we need to understand what exactly has happened to the cart, right? So there is this demon called Shakatasura. So his name was Utkacha, right? So Utkacha was in his previous life, not previous life, in the previous Manvantara actually. So he lived quite long. In the previous Manvantara, he was the son of Hiranyaksha. And what happened? He used to have a big body, and because of his big body and lineage, he was like very proud. So at one time, when the time comes, what do we do? So the things like that will happen. So at one time he went to Lomasa Rishi's ashram, which is a very serene ashram. And Lomasa Maharshi there, Rishi there, he was actually in trance. He was meditating. So Utkacha, he went there and then he just started pulling out the trees and he's just throwing out, he's just doing it for no reason. It's just for fun, he's doing it. And then with all these noises, all the birds flying away, making noises, all the animals going away. So it disturbed Lomasa Rishi. And then he actually opened his eyes and he saw this guy and this demon, and then he cursed him. Okay, because of the disturbance you are creating and unnecessarily you are doing this, and because you are very proud of your body, you will become bodiless. So because of that curse, what happened, Utkacha, his body has just become air, that's all. So he doesn't have a body at all. And realizing his mistake, immediately Utkacha fell at the feet of Lomasa Rishi. And see the beauty of the devotees, like Narada, like Lomasa Rishi. The devotees are so merciful. Immediately he blessed him. Don't worry, like now currently it's Chakshusha Manvantara, and next Manvantara would be Vaivasvatara Manvantara. Then Krishna will appear and he will liberate you. Okay, so you just bear with this body until then. So Utkacha, he was waiting, and then when Krishna appeared, so he became an associate of Kamsa somehow, and then he came to kill Krishna. And then no one can see him, right? So because his body, he doesn't have a body, so he actually just gotten on top of the cart, and then he started pushing it down. So he started pushing it down. He created so much burden on the cart. Actually, he pushed it so low. Actually, the wheels started going into the earth. So wheels started going into the earth, and then it gotten so low that Krishna could just touch it. That's all. So while he was kicking, he just touched it, and then it just flew. So because of that kick, because of that touch, what happened immediately? The Utkacha, he got his body back, and then he got liberated as well immediately, right? So such a beautiful, even a curse of a devotee can be beneficial. And then he got the direct kick from the Lord himself, right? So that's how the Shakatasura got, he was called Shakatasura, but his original name is Utkacha. So he got liberated, right? But the Gopas and Gopis and Yashoda Mata and Nanda Maharaj, they didn't know all these stories, right? So they were thinking they couldn't find the body. So, but what happened? So they were still thinking, and suddenly they thought like, okay, this must be some kind of a demonic activity. Some demon must have tried to kill Krishna, but somehow Krishna was saved, right? Because of Lord's mercy, Krishna got saved. And now we have to actually take the help of Brahmanas and give him, get the Brahmanas to give him blessings, so that in future he will be protected, right? In future also he will be protected. So, and then immediately Nanda Maharaj called all the Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas he called are very pure Brahmanas. Pure Brahmanas is like those who are actually those Brahmanas, best of the Brahmanas. So they are like free from envy, free from untruthfulness, free from false pride. They're also free from prestige, free from grudge, right? And they have never hurt anyone. So all these qualities were mentioned. So And why these best brahmanas? See, the reason is, if a good brahmana gives a blessing, that blessing will never go in vain. So that is the importance. So if a pure brahmana gives a blessing, it will never go in vain. So that's why whenever we come across a pure devotee, we should always seek to get their mercy or blessing. See, we have seen two examples. One, Utkacha's case, right? And Narada Muni, he has given so many blessings to so many mercy blessings to so many. But Utkacha's case also. So Loma Rishi just he gave, even though he has given the guts, he was given a blessing also, right? So yeah, like that is the potency of a pure brahmanas. So if any of you want to develop the qualities of brahmana, so these are the qualities we should look out for. Get rid of the envy, get rid of be truthful, and get rid of the false pride, and also the prestige, false prestige, and the grudging nature we should get rid of, and then try not to hurt anyone. So that's the lesson we can learn from that pastime. And also, the Shakatasura actually represents burden in our life, right? So burden, as in, say, there was this, I'll give an analogy, so it will be easy to understand. Say, imagine there are few people actually walking on the bank of the river. Okay, so they are on their shoulders, they are carrying heavy loads, heavy burdens. So they are carrying on the river bank, and then there is a boat in the river, okay, and going along with the flow with the same kind of same number of people and same burdens also. So the burden is actually in the boat and it's flowing. So as they were passing by the people who are walking on the bank, so the people in the boat, they asked, okay, it's like, no, why are you carrying all that burden? Like, why don't you just come onto the boat? Okay, just leave, keep it in the boat, and then we can flow. It's very smooth ride for us. Like, we don't have to carry anything. And then the people on the shore, they said, like, no. If we come into the boat, we may drown. So no, sorry. So we are not going to come down. And then the people in the boat said, like, okay, fine. So we are carrying on. So what they represent, this, and from this analogy, what we can see is that people who are in the boat are actually like, imagine a family who is totally in Krishna consciousness, right? So when they are in Krishna consciousness, the burdens, like any material burdens, they won't feel like burdens. Like, the flow would be very smooth, right? As a family, like, we're just carrying on, and Krishna is there, because Krishna is there to protect throughout the journey, right? And not only this life, he will protect us for the next life as well, right? But whereas those who are actually carrying the burden on themselves, because they are just relying on their own energy, their own bodies to carry, so they are actually kind of in the material consciousness. What happens when we carry our own material, when we are attached to these material attachments? What happens? We, as explained earlier, we develop all these attachments, and then sense gratificatory activities, and then imagine, say, for example, if you are smoking, right? If you are attached to that smoking, right? First of all, you have to pay to buy a cigarette packet. Okay, and then after smoking for some time, the lungs get infected, and then we get admitted to the hospital, and then so many things will happen. So it's like spending money every time just for some small sense gratification, right? So it's not worth it. So that's why, like, when we are in Krishna consciousness, Krishna actually will take care. He will guide us, in the process. Okay, so looking at the time, we need to little bit rush now. Okay, so like that, so after the Shakatasura's pastime is done, so 1 year passed, and then Krishna has actually Krishna has become now 1 year old, and then Yashoda And Yashoda Mata used to play with Krishna very nicely now. It's like now she used to throw him in the air and catch him, and then like when you do that to the small kids, how they'll giggle and they enjoy that rasa, right? So my Yashoda Mata also actually doing that, imagine that. So suddenly Krishna became so heavy, right? As she was throwing up, and suddenly she couldn't throw him anymore. So he became so heavy, as big as a mountain. So because she couldn't lift him anymore, like she put him down. So Krishna has sensed that, okay, Tṛṇāvarta has come. A demon has come into Vrindavan, and he is going to come here very soon. And very soon he is going to snatch me. Okay, but I don't want my mother to get hurt in that process of snatching, right? So he made himself so heavy so that she will put down. So immediately Mother Yashoda, she put him down, and then she was bewildered, like, what happened? Why Krishna has become so heavy suddenly? And then she got concerned, and then she wanted to call for some brahmanas, and then she just went outside. And then in that split second, what happened? Tṛṇāvarta came, and then he created such a big havoc. Like, you would have seen the tornadoes, right? How big of a dust it will create. So the name of Tṛṇāvarta also is like that. So the Tṛṇāvarta means actually the one who actually picks up the grass and dust from the ground, and then creates a whirlwind, creates a whirl out of it. Okay, so that's the name of Tṛṇāvarta. So he picked up the dust, and then he created so much havoc. So the gopis and gopas, they couldn't see anything. They couldn't see the nearby things also. And then suddenly Mother Yashoda also couldn't see anything. And then Tṛṇāvarta came, he picked up, he snatched Krishna, and then he flew up into the air. So high up, he went so high. And then his idea was actually to go high and then just drop Krishna from there. And then Krishna, he's so smart. So Krishna was doing, he was actually just clinging onto his neck. So like this, he was just clinging onto his neck. And then as soon as Tṛṇāvarta thought of dropping him, Krishna, tightened his hands, and then he couldn't pull. So while this was happening on the air, down below on the ground, so Yashoda Mata suddenly couldn't find Krishna. What happened to Krishna? Like, I just left him there. And then she just fell onto the ground and she started crying. And hearing her cries, by then the dust has settled down a bit. By hearing her cries, other gopis and gopas, they came running. Mother Yashoda, what happened to you? Like, why are you crying? She said, like, I couldn't find my Krishna. I just left him there. And then other gopis also, they also started weeping, because they're so attached to Krishna. Sometimes what happens is that Krishna creates such a situations where the intense longing, the love for him actually comes up even more, right? So it's like, okay, so I actually wanted to give a story, but it's only two more minutes now, so I'll skip that story. So to create that intense story, he'll create situations like this as well. So now in the air, so Krishna held into Tṛṇāvarta's neck so tight, and then he was trying to pull, but he didn't come out. At the same time, he became so heavy also. And he became so heavy that Tṛṇāvarta couldn't fly high anymore. So he started coming down. Then Tṛṇāvarta realized that, okay, this is not an ordinary child. See, if an ordinary child, if you just pull him strong enough, they can't hold that tight, right? So they'll eventually leave their hands, right? But when he couldn't get rid of Krishna, that's when he realized that this child must be someone special. But then by then it's too late. So what happened? Krishna held on to his neck so tight that his eyes popped out, and then because of the tight neck, he choked and then died on the way down as well. So they landed on a stone slab, and then his limbs got broken, his body parts like fell everywhere. And then whatever remaining body, Krishna was just like on top, he was just playing. And then suddenly gopis saw, and then they quickly ran to him, and then they picked him up. And Yashoda Mata came running and saw, oh my God, Krishna is like, how are you? Like, she was checking for injuries, if there are any injuries. And then they found that, okay, there are no injuries, safe. Krishna is safe now. And Nanda Maharaj also, he became so happy that, and then Nanda Maharaj was thinking, oh, the Krishna really got saved because of Tṛṇāvarta's bad behavior, because of his bad karma. He tried to snatch an innocent child, and then he tried to kill him and eat him. Because of his bad behavior, he got punished. So the Vrajvasis, no matter what happens, they never acknowledge Krishna. But from a third party point of view, we know how Krishna, like who is Krishna. But from the Vrajvasis, they are so innocent. They never, whatever happens, they never believe Krishna is the supreme person, right? And then the last pastime that I want to talk about, actually, one time what happened is Mother Yashoda, she was feeding Krishna. And then Krishna was like, full now. And then as Anning, like, he was feeling sleepy and he yawned. And then as soon as he opened his mouth, and Mother Yashoda could see all the universes in there, all the sun, moon, all the stars, everything in that small mouth. So this is Krishna does that 2 times. He did it twice in his pastimes. So he showed entire, and then Mother Yashoda, like, she's totally bewildered. What is happening? And then she couldn't believe, and then she closed her eyes, right? So she closed her eyes, and then she thought that, okay, there's something is not right. Okay, so no matter what, so Vrajvasis are never, they're never treating Krishna as supreme. So they always treat him as their own, and then they give so much love and protection. They try to give so much love and protection. So that's exactly what Krishna wanted. And then, whenever Krishna wanted to show, so Yogamaya comes and covers all the gopis and gopas, that knowledge also, so that, they're always they're always like innocent gopis and gopas, right? So that's how Krishna performed 3 pastimes. So we got to hear from him today, right? Okay, right. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And any questions, please, you can ask now.
Mukesh Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Bharadwaj Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Wonderful and ecstatic narration of Krishna's pastimes. Thank you very much. When he's saying that Krishna was 3 months old and he was moving his hands and legs, we could see you moving your hands, but we didn't see your legs. So,
Prabhuji, once the lockdown is over, I'll try and show Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Krishna. Oh, Krishna. Prabhuji.
I had 2 questions.
See, Krishna, yes. You can imagine, Prabhuji.
Okay. I did imagine. I loved it. I loved and enjoyed Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
When Prabhuji is showing, just keep some distance from him.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So thank you, man. Thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation, Prabhuji. I had 2 questions, Prabhuji. One is related to, also connected to yesterday's lecture from Sudharma Prabhuji. So you may choose to, because you touched upon it. You mentioned that Putna is a representation of false guru. So my first question was that we have learned from various lectures from Resh Prabhu that guru is one and there's no good guru or bad guru. So when we say false guru, are we trying to refer to people who in the guise of being a guru spread unauthorized knowledge? And if so, why is such a person equated to Putna? So that was one question. The second question was, Prabhuji, Sakta Sura, you mentioned.
Prabhuji, one at a time, Prabhuji. I can't keep too many questions. Sorry.
Okay.
One at a time. Okay.
Sure.
So see, when Putana is representing false guru, so we need to look at it from 2 aspects. One from within us, and from the second one is from outside. Okay. So the first one from within, actually, the mind is generally considered when it is not under the control of the intelligence and soul. It is considered also a false guru because it will give instructions which are not favorable. right? And then because when we are attached to the sense gratification, and when the mind is under the control of the senses, what happens is that, and also mind is always seeking pleasure, the instructions that it will give is always about sense gratification. How do we gratify my sense? How do I gratify my senses? Okay, so because it is giving false instructions, we consider that false guru. Okay, so that is one thing. From outside, see, as we know, like there are many gurus. So there are genuine gurus, there are gurus in disguise as well, right? I mean, like false people in the disguise of guru, right? So we need to be careful. I think we have learned enough from Amrish Prabhuji how to identify false gurus, right? So we need to be careful. The first thing we need to make sure is that they are coming in a proper guru parampara, and then the parampara is authentic and genuine, and it is actually connecting all the way to Krishna. And then we also need to see whether they are following the scriptures, the sadhus, and also whether they are following their own guru. Okay, so we can see from their own activities whether the guru is genuine or not. So that from those 2 points, Prabhuji, like we need to be very careful about false gurus. And why Putana's case is considered as a false guru? Because see, Putana came in a disguise to feed Krishna, right? But the disguise is actually, in that disguise, she is actually giving poison to him, right? So even though from outside it looks as if she is coming with an affection, but then what we are getting is poison. So that's why Putana is considered as false guru.
Lovely, fantastic, Prabhuji. The second was, Prabhuji, about Saktasur. You mentioned that he was cursed by Lomas Rishi in his past life. So I just wanted to clarify, was he also sent in this life, in this Manamantra, by Kans, like all the demons, or he just happened to be there because of the curse of Lomas Rishi?
So that actually, I tried to look for a reference, Prabhuji. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get exactly whether Kamsa has actually sent, or is it Utkacha. His name was Utkacha. Whether he came but I couldn't find, because see, the motive for Utkacha to come there is to kill Krishna. So that's why he was actually pulling the cart down, right? But I didn't know, I couldn't find a reference for that project, whether Kamsa and Utkacha were associated. But maybe Amrish Prabhuji, do you know, Prabhuji, any reference there?
Yeah, it certainly doesn't mention specifically about Shakatasur directly in Srimad Bhagavatam or in the Krishna Book. But in the Garga Samhita, there are some references. So we'll have to go and check. But just we can safely assume that all the demons in Vrindavan are sent by Kamsa. If there is a demon in Vrindavan who's trying to kill Krishna, then we can just assume that there is Kamsa's hand behind it.
Yeah. See, again, Prabhuji, Mukesh Prabhuji, see, the demons actually, see, every demon has a past life. See, like Shakatasura has a past history, why he came, why he happened to come there. Likewise, Tṛṇāvarta also, see, Putana's past life we heard yesterday. So she was a sister or daughter of Bali Maharaj. And then Tṛṇāvarta is actually, he was a king. He was a devotee of the Lord, right? And what happened? So his name was Sahasraksha, and then he was a king, and he was a very best devotee of the Lord. But then he is also attached to, he also has some material attachment. So at one time, what happened, he was actually enjoying with all 1,000 women. He was so indulged in that. He didn't notice Durvasa Muni coming, passing by. And Durvasa Muni, we know, like, he's like, he's on the, anytime he's ready to give a curse. And then he thought that, okay, this king is so arrogant, he didn't even, wish me. He didn't even, looked at me. And then immediately cursed that, you will become a demon. Okay. And then immediately the king, Sahasraksha, he fell at the feet. And then Durvasa Muni immediately, okay, he gave a blessing that don't worry. When Krishna takes birth, he will actually liberate you. So this is another story, of getting a mercy from devotees.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. The background of my question was that because Sakatasura Utkarsh had such a long life that his lifespan was across Manavantras, and he was told already by Numasha Rishi that Krishna will liberate you. So
Yes.
whether he came there to seek that liberation, but you and Amrish Prabhu have answered that most probably it was Kamsa's hand. And thank you very much for answering again with the same jest and enthusiasm as you did the lecture. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hari Bol to both of you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Oh,
Yes,
there is
yes,
some more
Prabhuji.
question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Ram Mohan Prabhuji here. Hare Krishna.
Ram Mohan Prabhuji, boliye.
So nice lecture, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for that. So as you said, it's really pleasing to hear. My one clarification is, as you mentioned, Krishna showed when he opened his mouth, all planets Yashoda is able to see in his mouth. But you also mentioned that it has happened 2 times. Krishna did that 2 times with Mata Yashoda. In spite of that, I'm just trying to understand why Krishna showed that pastime with Mother Yashoda. One thing. Second thing is, in spite of showing that, why Yashoda mother didn't realize that Krishna is a god, Supreme Lord.
Yes. So why Mother Yashoda didn't? First, I'll answer the first one, Prabhuji, and then we'll come to the next one. Okay. See, in her past life, Mother Yashoda's name was Dhara, and Nanda Maharaj was called Drona. So they were actually Drona was a Vasu, is one of the Vasus, and so they were doing lots of austerities, and then they wanted to have Lord as their son. Okay, so no, they actually wanted a son. And they did so many austerities, and finally, Lord Brahma appeared. Okay, and then and then as soon as he appeared, and he asked, like, what do you want? Why are you doing this? So then they asked, okay, we wanted the Supreme Lord as our son. We wanted to actually raise him with love and devotion. Okay, so as any parents would do. Okay, so and then Brahma, he said, like, okay, I'm not eligible, but I'm giving you that because of your austerities I can give. And to fulfill Brahma's boon, so Krishna actually came as a son of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. Okay, see, what was the boon? What did they ask for? They asked for they wanted to be the parents. Okay, see, I think a couple of days ago Amrish Prabhuji also said, see, when you have a son whom you know that who is a supreme personality of Godhead, would you care for him? Like, do you think of protecting him? Like, see, for example, something happens to our kids, Ramohan Prabhuji. What kind of feeling that we have? At any cost, we need to protect our children, right? If they got hurt, immediately, we wash and then we apply something and then we put a bandage and we do so many things, right? Yes. Like we just forget about everything else. We are so attentive to our kids. So likewise, like, say Krishna wanted to give the same same protection, same Vatsalya Bhav to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj as well. So that's why he is like, even though he's showing his pastimes, even though he's performing all these pastimes, but whenever they could think of, Yogamaya is to cover them. Okay, so Yogamaya is actually assisting Krishna to perform these pastimes. So Yogamaya is to cover the knowledge, and then immediately they become innocent again. Oh, no. This is my own Ladla, my own kid. How can he become do this? So that's because of Vishnu's mercy that he was saved, or it's because of Tṛṇāvarta's bad behavior that he got killed and our Ladla was saved, or because of the charities that we have done in the past, our kid is saved now. So they were always thinking that he was an ordinary child, but extraordinary things are happening, but our kid is ordinary child, right? So that is because of the Yogamaya, so that Krishna as well as the parents, all the gopis and gopas as well, they can really relish the the parent-child relationships and friendly relationships and Madhurya relationships.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Amrish Prabhuji, do you want to add anything, Prabhuji?
No, that's fine. I think there will be some more answer coming in tomorrow's lecture, because tomorrow is also similar pastime is coming. So we'll park that for tomorrow. And if it is not, if any doubts remain after tomorrow's lecture, then we will see.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mukesh Prabhuji, I just quickly checked about the previous pastime and the reference. And I found that in the Garga Samhita, in the first canto, 14th chapter, 11th verse, it is clearly mentioned that this demon Shakatasur was sent, or Utkacha was sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Haribol.
Yeah. Sudhir Prabhuji, you have your hand up.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Bharadwaj, Shri Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Nice narration. I would like to hear that story also, Prabhu, that you didn't cover because of the time. When you are talking about Tṛṇāvarta.
Tṛṇāvarta story. What did I wanted to cover? Yeah. So see, Krishna creates situations where the devotees actually can express their love even further, even more. So the story I wanted to, it's a kind of analogy kind of story. Say for example, okay, so in a suit, you have a suitcase, Prabhuji, okay, in that suitcase you have $1 million, okay, so freshly minted notes, okay. You put it in the suitcase and then you locked it, and then you are traveling you're going in a train, let us say, okay. So you put your suitcase under the seat and you're gone, and you reached your destination, and you came down the train. Suddenly you realized, where is my suitcase? Right? I forgot my suitcase. And then by the time you look back, the train is gone. So what is your mood like now? How anxious you will be? Yaar, $1 million, they're gone. They're in the train. Okay, so immediately we'll book a cab, or we'll do something, and then we'll try and go to the next station. Okay, and as soon as we reach, we jump into the station and then jump into the train if the train happened to be there. And then once we find that suitcase, imagine the happiness that we feel. Right? The same thing. See, when the anxious feeling that the gopis and Mother Yashoda felt when they couldn't find Krishna, they were so anxious, they were crying, they are like literally weeping. Okay, and then as soon as Krishna came down, they saw Krishna and they hugged him like so tightly. See, if that situation didn't happen, they wouldn't have hugged him so tightly. They would have hugged him, but not so tightly. Right? That's what Krishna wanted. So he wanted to create these situations where the intensity of love, is expressed even further. And likewise, when he leaves Vrindavan and goes out also, that Vipralamba Prema. So it's like, so he wanted to create that intense love in the Vrajavasis.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
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 His Grace Bharadwaj Shri Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai.